that Roma loan effed up Ainsley. No, it didn't, because, well, yeah, it did, because it makes everyone go, well, yeah, maybe Arteta was unfair to not play you, but you got to be doing something. Because Jose played you one, 2 games, you got rubbed out. I mean, he ended up becoming a European winner with in the Conference League. But yeah, you know, it's Ainsley's just not good enough for the level he wants to play at this moment in time. You need to show you're a consistent right back or centre mid. Saying he's going to come on the show and then not taking a piss, really, which no one knows me nothing, but that's a joke, man. Zaha and Telemans would make us serious challenges in my honest opinion. This Telemans deal gives me De Jong vibes. Only difference is our De Jong saga is dead. Being a pussy, that's why. If we act slow, Liverpool will snatch Yuri since they're also linked. That's the risk you take. And if that happens, great. And it's not great, better yet. But make sure you got other targets. I don't want to hear about we was going for Telemans and this and that. And if you haven't, then you're going to live or die by this midfield. Don't give us a reason to look back. I think Zaha would thrive at Arsenal. A fresh start, has always wanted to be here, would bring a strong attacking threat. 25 million transfer, 2-year deal. We're looking for a more short-term option. I hear that. When you play for Palace, that was mid-table for many years. Don't you expect Zaha to complain? Haven't seen him complain once recently. Can see him and Arteta not working. Zaha's got bad energy. I mean, you don't know the man unless you know. How has he got bad energy? Obviously, if you're perceived in the media like that, why not? But how's he got bad energy? This is a man who's, you know, gives up some of his wages to charity. This is a man who helped Crystal Palace's women's team. This is a man who does a lot for the community, you know, really and truly. How's he got bad energy? Because he flaps his arms and he doesn't get taken for a dickhead. I'm not saying you're wrong, but provide me some examples. Like, if we're going to say things, we can't not just say things. We need to have some tangible proof. Arsenal is interested, but Wolverhampton has exit door closed. Zaha is the better player, but his attitude ain't good for the team. How, though? I think it would be Neto or Mudryk. Amen. Should push for Zaha if this Neto deal longs out till deadline. Yeremy Pino scored against Atletico Madrid this week in a Villarreal 2-0 win. You're doing better than us at the moment. No clue support, but yeah, man. We should move on from Neto since they'll ask for an arm and a leg. Let's just get Telemans to solidify that midfield. Keep Nelson. We have a very high impact season ahead, especially with the World Cup. We hope our players come back with no injuries, but we know football. Nelson got a bounce. Hot take. I don't think we need a wide player if Pepe stays. We should focus on a solid Partey backup. Surprised Yuri isn't pushing for a move to make it cheaper. We don't know what he is or isn't doing. Man said what you said, man, they're getting hench over the summer. Yeah, I see. It's fresh home and that is nothing, man. They freed me. They freed the guy, man. I'm guessing, but a big exaggeration. But I think that Zaha could be what Ronaldinho was to Messi, a good tool in his progress. I see what you mean for the young tugs. Mad examples, that, but I see what you mean. It's a bit mad, but I see what you mean. Don't Xhaka, Telemans, Odegaard midfield scare you? I wouldn't say scare me. He won a lot better, but wouldn't say scare me. We need someone like Fabinho or Fernandinho in the middle. He's an upgrade on Xhaka, but not as big as an upgrade that people think he is. We need a right wing. Zaha as a left wing. I want Neto instead, and he's 8 years younger, so as resale value. I mean, Pedro Neto that can play on the left and the right. I hear you, though. Zaha can play striker as well. Why are fans still chatting about Paqueta or Milinkovic-Savic? We are never signing these guys. What's your thoughts on the Brazilian playing jeering Casemiro on him retiring by guy Man United? What? Would you say there, my guy? I can't, Casemiro to say he played for Man United, to say he played in the Prem to get the bag, the money, and this contract and whatnot at 30. If that's what you're asking me, I can't say no to it if I was him. Zaha is Saka is 20 years old. I'm trying to read two things at once. Someone said I prefer Zaha. Zaha announced yet, big up DG. Saka is 20 years old. I disagree with him blocking progress, and I also think the manager has an understanding of Zaha's character. Struggle to see why that would be hard to manage. I think he'll fuck with him, really. That's just me. I don't rate Telemans, to be honest. Feel like the club is waiting for the window to force Leicester City's hand on Telemans, but if they don't budge, we won't overpay. Good chance we don't bring anyone else in. Boy. Pedro Neto has no finishing touch. Sane will be better. Well, we can't get Sane right now, bro. You know that. I know that. Man said if we get a winger in Yuri, selecting Arsenal in FIFA 23 or FM would feel amazing. Scared, man. We definitely need a backup / competition for Partey. If he gets injured, we are screwed. We need to get Paqueta before the weekend. Probably even if we were going to get Paqueta, I don't think that would happen. You are right. The problem with Xhaka is that he's a good player. I can see why Telemans is touted because he's a two-way player, which Xhaka is. Watching Telemans comps, I see more defensive actions. I think Arsenal will only grab Yuri Telemans for under 25. Arsenal will have a few people that can cover that position. Think right wing is the club's priority. I hear that. Pardon me. Zaha is that guy given the money. The man belongs in the top 6 side. Zaha is a perfect signing. We need him to push our lads on the wings. Boy. This is the comment of the day, really. You know, Neto or Wilf, I ain't complaining. I want Zaha. Are we getting Zaha? I don't know, man. Big up DG. It was frantic last Saturday when I couldn't find your stream. Honestly, had me real sad. Then I remember Criminal Blues. I'm sorry. Arsenal, Fulham. Again, no watch along. Content in the build up, but no watch along. We go again for Villa, and that's it done, in it. I'm actually pleasantly surprised but disappointed. Like I didn't think you lot would miss me that bad. Quite a lot of you said, "Oh, where's the watch along?" I was thinking, raw, like bloody hell, it's a heartwarming moment as a content creator, man. But bloody hell, 317 likes. If you've hit the like button, thank you very much, man. Every like helps the engagement. Every subscription, the same, man. You lot are lit. I prefer Zaha over Pepe when we purchased in Premier League proven. Arsenal making definite interest in Telemans, Pedro Neto, and to a lesser extent, Paqueta. I think Arteta doesn't like disobedience. He doesn't like open displays of that on the pitch. He likes yes, sir, no, sir. Not sure if Zaha and him would work well. I hear that, but at the same time, do I think there's not difficult characters? I think Xhaka is respectful, but Xhaka's a man. Arteta is a man. They've got personalities. They're going to say something. I do agree with you, and that is one area I'm watching Arteta because it's very easy to rub out Mesut Ozil, who's past it, Aubameyang, whose form's not there. Just for argument's sake, what if it's who's flavour of the month right now? Xhaka or Saka or Saliba? What if you was beefing them, man? Because you can't always do that. Sometimes you have to give a slap on the wrist and move from it. I hear you to a degree, though. Buying Zaha after choosing Pepe over him 3 years ago would be embarrassing. Not sure how that works because, you know, if Palace weren't playing hardball them times, I think we get him. Pepe's club in Lille, they're a selling club. They were happy to sell. They were happy to do the Bright House payments and get paid 10 years later. Calm. Probably get a little interest as well. Been calling for Zaha for 3 years. Zaha doesn't have a bad attitude. He has just wanted a move to a big club for a while and deserves it. Obviously, half of the sick players in the Premier League had difficult attitudes. You think Vieira was an easy character to deal with? You think Henry was an easy character, especially them Frenchmen? You know how Cantona as well. You know, them man there, Petit as well. Them man will open their mouths when they need to. You think Ronaldo, even before Ronaldo became this GOAT, like I'm talking when he's become a bit surty at United, you think Rooney was a difficult character? Like half of these guys wanted to leave their clubs almost every week, if you lot remember. Half of the best players are difficult characters, or if they're not difficult characters, they're mavericks. Or if you've got a rule for if there's 21 players in your squad, you can have a rule for 20 and then a rule for 1. And you get that. That comes with the territory when you're wavy. So I'm not saying we're wrong, but where does this bad attitude? Does he frustrate? Does he whine? Yeah, but I wouldn't say bad attitude. I can see why you'd say that. I'm not saying you're wrong, but where's the bad attitude thing coming from? You know, I just think Zaha don't take bad up. He's just not a dickhead. I think he buys. Listen, if he had a bad attitude, Zaha would have been beaten up long time by Vieira. You saw what Vieira did to the Everton fan that tried him. You know, if he didn't, do you think he cares? He would have headlocked him time ago, wrapped him very quickly, beat that out of him. I don't know, man. Who cares about short or long-term plans if we're winning titles now? We're not winning titles now, though. Fans are soft and just want yes men like Arteta. Zaha catching Pogba propaganda. BS, if you know what Zaha does around South London, you wouldn't say that. And Zaha has that angry black player tag from the racist media. I do agree. Zaha turning 30 in November. I do think people see 30 and get a bit giggity in that. And obviously, you need to give yourself a get-out clause and be able to finesse it when he drops off. And you do see a lot of times people sign a new contract and, you know, and then they kind of mess up. But for me, I like to think Zaha, at the end of the day, you ain't got long left. You got your dream move if it did happen, you know. Sense of urgency. In the same way I get that with Xhaka and El Nene, and I would like to say Cedric, but not because You man are 29, 30. It's great for Saka if you sign Pedro Neto and all these guys if they take a while to grow, because what these men are in their early 20s. In 3 years, you lot are 33 odd and you can still play, you know, but not all of you are gonna have that. Agree, DG. A few years too late for Zaha. We had the chance and passed, and that's also what I believe. Can we push for 400 now, people? DG, those shoulders look fire. I'm trying, bro. Sorry, but little tick. But yeah, shout out the shoulder press. Shout out the shoulder press. Just wish the calves would get that. What top you wearing, DG? I don't even know what this is. Man, I thought I bought this on ASOS time ago. Humble ASOS vest, my guy, man. I see Ben Jacobs on a lot of pages as well. Proper joke, man, bro. Proper joke, man. Kept saying, yeah, he's on it. Organized it twice. It's cool. We don't know, man. I ain't flopped it. DM me on Instagram. I was like, fuck that. It's cool, man. Suck him, man. Zaha is dead food. Maitland Niles has no preferred option. Not going to lie. I've never been on the Zaha train. I've always felt he would be perfect for Arsenal. I always felt he would be perfect for Arsenal player because of his bad attitude and selfish mentality. I don't want any more of them in our dressing room. We need that. As long as you have humility, which I think Zaha has, is calm. You know, as long as you, I think Zaha thinks his shit don't stink. Do I think he thinks he's better than anyone? No. Even when you look at the Ravel Morrison thing, you know, you go back a few years under 21s. Do you remember him and Ravel Morrison were fighting? Why were they fighting? Because Zaha said, you're not passing to no one, not just me. You're not passing to no one. You think you run the show and you think the rest of us are nobodies. So I do think he's got the humbleness to know I'm not better than I'm not better than any man or woman. Is what it is. But he does have a positive chip on his shoulder. You need that. Half of our play, bro. Lauren had that. Come on, chip on the shoulder. You think man are trying to jump on Ruud van Nistelrooy's head at Old Trafford and mocking him for missing a penalty? It's just about having humility. We need that. I know we've got characters here that are a bit more, you know, never getting detention, them sort of guys, but it is what it is. How much are Palace asking? I don't know. I don't think we're going for him. This is what I'm saying. I think Zaha would unstable the dressing room. How? Like, I'm not saying you're wrong, but how? How are we getting this? I hear that, Justin. How? Where are we drawing this? How would he? Because bearing in mind, you don't even know what's going on in the dressing room. You know, we saw the all or nothing. We don't know who or isn't. Half the players you think are elite captains, and how do you know they're not? They are or not? How do we know? I'm not saying anybody's wrong, but like, I'm trying to gauge the thought process. How? He's in America now. By Mr. Dean Jones. I like Zaha, just needs to work on how easily he's wound up by, man. That's true. I would take Maddison a bit like Zaha. I like their attitudes. You know, they want to be the showman. They want the swagger. They're humble. We need, as much as I think we've got that now, but I think we need a bit of them. You know, we need players that don't get too upset when they're going wrong, and players that, when it's every reason not to play, it's wet, it's windy, you step out the tunnel, the 12th man, the fans are throwing stuff at you, they're mocking you, they're chanting you, the opposition are kicking you, the ref is against you. I need dons that see this and stand up to be counted, which I think we're in our squad now. We're moving towards that, but I haven't seen it. We haven't really gone through any adversity. People were, myself included, we were gassing up Crystal Palace away. We got through that. You know, Leicester, we did that. I thought we would see a much better Bournemouth. We did that. But we haven't gone through any tests really and truly. When things are going well, as we see at Arsenal, no disrespect, but it's easy to be confident when there's every reason to be confident. That's why man are doing wavy flicks and tricks. When you try that flick, the other team go down the other end and score. Where's the mentality? Have you got the mentality to try that again? Calculated risk, but have you got it to try it again? When there's every reason not to want to play football, are you able to do it? And that is one reason as to why our season crumbled at the latter end of the season. To go with game management, not holding on to leads from winning positions at the start of our year, maybe not doing things in January, inability to hold on to points from winning positions, Crystal Palace at home, Man United away, Everton away. Had you have just got 3 points from them games, where would we be? But that's neither here nor there. We can only deal with the facts, and that's on Friday. Couple days, we'll be doing up Europa League draw and seeing who's in the groups. So we're going to have to see what's going on there, really and truly. Transfer room of thoughts. Sorry, folks, making a timestamp. Big up you lot, man. It's always an elite stream, but yeah, man. Zaha wouldn't mind as option 2 if Neto doesn't come. Just hope can get a winger and an 8 sorted. I'm with that. It's like leaving the main thing and going back to the. Oh, yo. Chill. Anthony's lit, but you know, them Dutch clubs are just robbing everyone, really and truly. How bad do United want to give Ten Hag someone? Overpaying, but if he does the business, nobody really cares. Zaha would be Pepe we actually needed. Gabby and Saka are going to burn out, especially with European football this season and all the outgoings. We cannot afford to bring anyone else in. Oh, sorry, we can't afford to not bring anyone else in. Liverpool looking dead, Chelsea looking mid, Spurs haven't looked amazing. I hear that. What else are you lot saying? Elite conversation, man. Zaha is good. Zaha is good if we want him for a few years, but Neto can stay for like 5. I hear that. Apparently, Chelsea want Maguire. They are about to turn Stamford Bridge into Stamford Fridge. I'm sure United would love for that, but they're moving mad, really. Chelsea, you're just buying people for the sake of it. That's just panic stations. Yeah, English and all of that sort of jazz. And to be honest, he might look a bit better in the back three because he struggles to defend, really, that them man run. But yeah, man, I'm not too sure if that's the case. DG, all they know is what Sky TV and media tell them. They take in racist food and ask for more. Just like Sterling, pure jealousy and hate due to skin tone. Did you see Zaha swear at his fans? Do you think Zaha is sacrificing playing week in, week out? But that's what you take joining a bigger club, you know, really. You know, Calvin Phillips, you know game time's going to be limited. But if you take your chances within reason, you've got nothing to worry about. Grealish, you know you're not. You know it's not going to be the Villa thing and anybody else really and truly. Saka, if you go to City tomorrow, because you're always linked, or well, Liverpool's form, you probably would play really, but you know it might be more competitive. Fabio Vieira, you might play week in, week out for Porto. You know, once you step in here, it's not that thing. You know, even Zinchenko, it's not necessarily guaranteed. You're going to get more minutes, but it's not guaranteed you're playing. Who is guaranteed to play in that Arsenal team beyond the obvious starters? I would say I don't think unless Gabriel, Jesus, Saka, and Xhaka, unless their form drops off a cliff, maybe Gabriel as well, unless their form drops off a cliff, they're playing week in, week out. Ramsdale the same. Other than that, and there's still that, you can't afford for that. There's still that monkey on their back. Cody Gakpo, I'm not really with it. You know, if he goes United and does a madness, or in the future, I would say I got that wrong. But at this moment in time, looks a bit too raw, man. He looks a bit too raw for me. I think we've got a lot of project players. What's good, cuz? Douglas Luiz. I wouldn't mind Douglas Luiz still. I wouldn't mind Douglas Luiz. But it seems like we've gone away from that. Gakpo looks calm. He looks like if he goes to them Dortmunds and them clubs there that he's calm. But at this moment in time, I don't know if you're going to have certain guarantees that I might get with Zaha or others. So I would leave that. I think we've got a couple of other project players here already. If he signed, I'm not going to cry. And obviously in a year's time, he could be lit. DG, would you take a gamble on Ismail Assar from Watford? Nah, I like him, not kicked on enough. He's still young, not kicked on enough for me. I'd rather try the Gakpo thing, really. I'd leave them alone, really. I'd probably buy Zaha. Couldn't even care if Zaha's having fist fights in the dressing room. Man's a baller, plus I've never seen him be a problem player. I think he has got the right attitude. I think Zaha doesn't get excited. He can coach out rawness. You're not listening, G1. You're either trolling. We've got rawness in the team. He's going to have to coach that already. How many puzzles can you complete? You can only complete one puzzle at a time. You got 2 hands. You've already got rawness. So if there's exceptions to the rules that is better than what we have, why not? But, you know, you've got to get a tune out of Martinelli, Eddie. You've got to take Jesus, Martin, Odegaard, Zinchenko to the next level. Tomiyasu, despite moving like a veteran, he's 22 years of age. Ben White isn't the finished article. Gabriel isn't the finished article. Saliba is 21. Only played 3 games for Arsenal Football Club. He's making great progress, but he is not the finished article. Aaron Ramsdale is my guy. I love him, but he shows himself to be a 24-year-old goalkeeper at times. Lokonga is very raw. Tavares, if we're countering in last season, Fabio Vieira's just signed. While we're talking about versatility and stuff, you still need to be either an 8 that can play everywhere else, a winger that can play everywhere else, or whatever. So why are you going to add more to the squad? Because as much as it's that, we're not a farm, you know. We're not a farmer. If I'm a farmer, I might be growing a mango tree, but if I don't go and sell my other fruits in the market, I'm not getting food to pay my bills and things like that. The young players are the fruit. Sometimes we might need some instant impacts now. So if we can't necessarily do that, of course, there's exceptions to the rule. Pedro Neto is raw, but there's levels to this rawness, really and truly. Yeah, he's still raw, blood. Like, he's still raw, man. I'm not even caring about his age. He's still raw from what I see. If he signs, I don't mind it. He fits the age profile. Obviously, he's a captain and that. Yeah. I'd rather just work with what you've got, really. You know, I'd monitor him for a year, and if we miss out, I hold my hands up. My talent ID was Fugazi, but yeah, man, that's how I feel still. To me, I think Zaha would be a good addition for the Gunners. 23. Appreciate that. Zaha worked for Roy, who was mad structured and strict. I appreciate that. We're not a farm, bro. What about Memphis? I mean, if we could do a lot worse. Love for the super chat, broski. If I didn't make that clear as well. Zaha deserves the move. He's been balling for time, and people still want to slander his name like he ain't that guy. Would love for us to go for Fofana. Hey, he's decent, provided you're talking about the centre mid. Zaha would be the cherry on the cake, make us a title threat in the current season. I'm not too sure about that. Appreciate that. That's a chap game looking feet. I wanted them, man. I get the shoulders and the arm, the chest are now coming, but the legs is a bit mad still. Can we go for Bernardo Silva? Maybe when he was at Monaco or when he was 12 years of age, not right now, because the marketing on Zaha signing would be mad. Would love some substance to the slander on Zaha from the comment section. So would I. I'm not trying to, bro, you might be talking the truth, but why you say like where is that? Because obviously, because I love football and I see football at deeper levels, and obviously I see it with young players. What and Zaha isn't young, but I know in football nowadays, and I could give you an example of a certain player who was released from a certain club, and then he's actually went on trial for a certain club, and the head of academy, sorry, sat there and said, "We've had your file we've had your file on our system, and we've never gotten it." Open the file, it says bad attitude, and that man himself has sat there and said he ain't got a bad attitude. The problem with football, if you say enough things enough times, people latch onto it and believe it and stuff. And I'm not saying Zaha doesn't have a bad attitude. I'm just saying if you're going to say these things about a man, make sure you've got evidence for it, really. I'm not saying he doesn't. And obviously, as a football fan, we're limited, but where is it? Just because you open your mouth and moan doesn't mean you have a bad attitude. Doesn't mean you're disruptive. Do you think Zaha is going to sacrifice playing? I already saw that. Zaha might spice up the dressing room a little more if needed. That's why we all know what's being said, you know. That's why man overcompensate when they're praising Kante and Saka to the point where they treat them two individuals like their children and completely emasculate them. Or I don't know the word for making an adult feel like a child, but childlike in it. We all know why, because they're seen as the good. You know, in it. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. In it, it's a privilege that you haven't had to be wary of, really and truly. If we sign Neto, he would be a role player, so it's more realistic. If we sign Zaha, Martinelli gets dropped. What happened, bro? Anyone can get dropped. Anyone can get it. We're linked with Diaby, wouldn't mind it, but these